You'd mentioned about going back in with the script and maybe revising or changing dialogue. You talk about, I know you said you like films that they're less wordy, and I get that. I like to see more than hear.
Yeah.
How did you start to change the dialogue? Was it just more sort of monosyllabic, like back and forth rather than an actual well, I don't think that would work, something like that?
No, it was more that I had a very clear idea of the characters and how they should sound. And when someone else is, especially with Poppy, with my character, to have someone else write her dialogue, I just knew how it should sound and what I wanted her to say and how she would say things. So some of it was, and that was with a lot of the characters, you hear them in your head, you write them. Some things you just know that wouldn't come out of that character's mouth, so I would go in and tweak it. And the same with the Stephen character. The Stephen character, he's a British male, and I just knew how he should sound, so it was hard for me to let someone else write his dialogue when I had such a strong idea of how it should be. And also, a lot of the dialogue was much longer, so I wanted to edit it down and make it a little less wordy, and so I would go in and cut bits out and then rewrite the characters in the voices that, how I wanted them to be. My writing partner, Hayley, her idea was really how the therapist should sound, so that was kind of more her voice, and then, my voice, the dialogue in my head was more for Poppy and for Stephen and some of the other characters. So anytime she'd worked on something that I had in my head, I would just go in and rewrite it.
When you did show the film to sort of this control group or this thing that your editor arranged, or even when reading the script, did people try to change Poppy?
Did people try to change Poppy? I mean, in the early drafts of the script, I didn't even like Poppy in the first draft of the script because she was a victim, and I really didn't like the fact that she was a victim, which is why I think I wanted to get involved and start writing, because, she was binge eating and drinking and just generally feeling sorry for herself, and I basically wanted to slap her. So I wanted to go in and change her character. And in the early drafts, before I think we'd gone through this whole journey with Poppy into making her who she was at the end, that was a slow process. So other people were picking up slightly on that part of Poppy, but that was fine because that was stuff I wanted to change. And if she was still coming across like that, then we needed to do more. So people did try to change a bit in a good way.
So you didn't want it to be where stuff was just happening to her and she was reacting. You wanted to see her change her own course?
Yeah, it was very much that everything happened to her and she was always complaining and it was poor me, and I really didn't want to... I mean, initially when I very first read it like that, I thought, oh, this would be a fun character to play. But then I realised, well, that's not going to make the film. It might be fun from an acting perspective, but she's not likeable. She's a victim, and I really didn't want that. So that was a slow process to change her into how she became at the end of the script.